Hello there again, it's Bob Chu from Stewart and Islamorada Boat Works, and today another latest launch. This is a beautiful, beautiful blue tone white 27 Stewart carbon Innegra full tower, as you can tell, as well as a flush floor boat. This boat's going to live primarily in Stewart half the time and in the Keys half the time. This boat was actually built for a retired master carpenter from Whitaker Boat Works here in Stewart. So I think that's a testament a little bit as to, geez, he could have gone anywhere, and he's very particular being a master carpenter. And he chose us to build this beautiful boat for him and his family. So yeah, come on aboard. I'll show you up forward to begin with to show you how massive this particular flush floor boat is. So when I said this foredeck is quite large, on this particular flush floor boat, it is because this buyer did not want the coffin box, which is permanently attached to this fish box hatch. They were going to come up with some sort of cooler configuration because they wanted to be able to take it on and off, carry the cooler to the fish cleaning table. So at this juncture, they've just taken delivery of the boat here in the last week. This is what you've got. And plenty of rod holders, 6 rod holders, you know, for sail fishing or whatever you choose. Really laid out awesome. Some of the other things, of course, the faux teak tow rail. You see that? It's becoming more and more popular on our boats. Of course, in addition to the tow rail, you see when we get to the helm, it has the faux teak pod. A real engineering feat for us. We've never done this before in our existence. This boat is actually at both of the customers' houses. He has davits, old school davits. So this boat had to be engineered and built so that it could be lifted with davits. So you can see that the anchor hatch has a slit built into it so that he can even leave his strap in place on the davits when it's up on land. When you open it, very difficult to see. He's got his anchor in here already, but we have a typical custom bow towing eye, which is one of our options on our list for people that are towing it behind a bigger boat. But this particular bow towing eye comes all the way back into this aft bulkhead and into a giant aluminum plate there and weld it there as well. So build out, it's so heavy duty. I mean, you could not rip that out either direction, this way or that way, the way we built this. And it's just cool. I mean, it took us forever. We worked with the owner of the boat, who, as I said, is a master carpenter, has a lot of knowledge of angles and so forth. Anyway, we accomplished it. It's quite the feat for us anyway. At this point, I'll go up the tower. As I bypass this, I'll mention that is plumbed as a live well as being a standard cooler. He does have also, shouldn't overlook it, a forward shade that goes out with 2 stainless telescopic poles that go in these rod holders. So the entire bow will be shaded. Now, to go up to the tower, unlock the door, fold it open, and relock the door. Very important maneuver. We have had some people forget to lock this in the open position. They take off running, rough water, comes back. It's not a pretty sight. So here we are, right up into the tower. Now this is a folding tower so that you can be street legal, of course. And boom, right up into the tower. Such an awesome configuration. I, of course, can see the bow quite easily. I can see the stern and the motors from here, and I'm only 5'8". As far as the layout's concerned, second Edson wheel, CL5 Yamaha gauge. he chose to have a removable Garmin here. First time we've done that, his personal preference. Normally we flush mount it. He wanted it removable. He also wanted a small compass here. We have that, the Lenco trim tabs with indicators, of course your Yamaha controls, kill switch, start stop, and a start stop for both motors. There is the ability to drop a phone, a charger, you know, various miscellaneous things in the locker back here on the back side. He also has a 315 Garmin VHF above here, as well as one below, for purposes primarily of using it as an intercom, so that when he or his son are up here and the other one's down below, they don't have to shout and lean over and do all that. They just simply, especially if it's windy, rough offshore, just pick up and talk on the intercom function. 2 forward-facing rod holders, which has pretty much become our norm. I remember when I first saw these, this is a trick out of the Chesapeake, when they're cobia fishing. I thought, wow, what a strange thing, like why? And now I totally get it, and it's standard on every folding tower. Almost perfectly, they're up 15 degrees from parallel to the water. Your casting rod in here, you're up here, see something, pick it out, gone. So yeah, that's a cool trick. Yeti cup holders, moving back, fold down footrest, nice cushioned seat, belly band backrest, 3 rod holders across the back, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You can put your feet here when you're running the boat quite commonly, or the folding footrest. 2 people can fit up here, obviously of a certain size, but yeah, it's quite doable and quite enjoyable. So as we come down the starboard side, notice the 3-sided enclosure, which has become ubiquitous on our boats. It's a big word, by the way. Get to see the console. It's, of course, blue tone white as well. It's pretty clean. I mean, it's the Group 31 batteries you're used to, the battery charger below, your C-zone digital switching. That happens to be an amp for the fusion system. And down below is some of the covers. This boat has multiple covers as well as a full cover. And everything's just super clean. Everything's accessible, tons of room down below for Bahamas runs and so forth. As we move back to the helm, a couple 12-inch Garmins, the remote speaker for the Garmin 315 VHF, which is down below and inside this locker. He has some personal things on here, but so yeah, more personal stuff. I won't take it all out, but his VHF is right here. My hand's on it. The Optimus gauge for his electric steering is right here. Fusion brain box again, and so forth. So you know that's the mechanical end of the boat there. Getting back to the helm, the C-zone switch panel that we're accustomed to, CL5 Yamaha, kill switch, power, start, stop, binnacle control, Lenco trim tabs with indicators. This does have a track here where he has a console cover that goes over the console and down to the corners. And in our usual fashion, we use plastic snaps because they don't corrode and stick your cover together. The beautiful helm pod that our guy David does for us. Just knock your socks off with the Edson wheel. It's just a beautiful touch. Getting quite accustomed to it. We move to the leaning post live well, 40-gallon, which you're used to seeing. It's a Birdsall leaning post live well. He does have the upgraded upholstery. There's individual folding footrests, so that when you're running the boat, one person can have one down, the other person have it up, however you want to do it. We also installed, which we don't typically do, but 2 speakers in the front side of the leaning post live well. So he simply has 2 here facing the console and 2 on the aft bulkhead facing forward. Pretty straightforward. Only other thing that I think maybe I missed, of course, was outriggers. They are 18-foot gem carbon fiber outriggers, rigged for 2 lines on each outrigger. And yeah, all the other standard stuff which you're used to seeing. Now we get to the business location of the fighting cockpit. Backside of the leaning post live well, you're familiar with the 4 rod holders, 2 cup holders, a little rigging tray for knife, pliers, and swivels and so forth. Yeah, you're familiar with the 40-gallon live well circular. Storage compartment here. He chose to have the starboard locker also a storage compartment for rods, gaffs, and boat hooks and so forth. The port locker is a 6-foot long insulated fish box. It is connected to the forward fish box in the floor, and they go via a Y valve to a gulper pump to be discharged overboard. Real clean operation. Freshwater wash down on a hose on a bar, saltwater wash down on a hose on a bar. The 2 speakers I mentioned, your great cockpit draining system. I've repeated this so many times that water in our gutters does not go in the bilge. It goes into a gutter system below the gutters and meets up with the cockpits and goes directly overboard. Awesome safety, security, and convenience, so you're not constantly worried about water in your bilge. Removable foldable stern seat that we're so familiar with. Great access to the bilge as usual. You know, just awesome. I mean, I literally can touch everything in the bilge except for the bilge pumps, and I'll show you what I'm doing to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 items in the bilge. I just touched them all there. Bing, bing, bing. Easy. Fuel filters, 1,000-watt transducer, live well pickup and pump, the gulper pump to pump the fish boxes out. Everything totally accessible, just that easy. Super clean white bilge, and then the 2 rule bilge pumps with the digital float switches all the way aft. Tough to beat on a 27-foot boat. That kind of access obviously gets a little easier with the stern seat not here. But yeah, very cool, very simple. Motors. We sell this boat with twin 200s or twin 300s. 4-cylinder 4-strokes or 6-cylinder 4-strokes. You'll see a lot of our boats are going twin 300s. Twin 200s make a lot of sense on this boat, especially because these boats were not really intended for ultimate top speed. They certainly will run at a high speed. With 300s, the wide open throttle is real close to 60. With 200s, wide open throttle is real close to 50. But the real story, in my opinion, is that the boat will run comfortably, effortlessly on the plane with minimal bow lift, minimum. And the boats will run at 30, 32, 28, right in that cruising range miles per hour, comfortably and efficiently, whether you go 200s or 300s. The boat will plane on one motor. You've probably seen the videos about that. Take a fully loaded, fully fueled boat, trim one motor out of the water, apply the throttles, don't do anything else, apply the throttle, and the boat will come on plane in seconds, run like it should, not maxing out the RPMs, you haven't changed the prop, you haven't put your trim tabs down. It's a remarkable bottom, and that's one of the wonderful features of it. So the only other last thing is, and you all you would see, maybe you can't from that angle, are the lifting rings here on the swim platform. Again, this was part of the whole method that we worked through and engineered, where these go down, heavy duty stainless, go down to stainless plates that encapsulate and like a saddle over each one of the stringers. And then the saddle is through bolted through the stringer. So again, pick this boat up and drop it from 100 feet. You're not going to affect these lifting rings. I mean, super, super strong. Really cool. that we had the opportunity to do it. A lot of extra work, but very, very cool. So that's really it. Totally awesome boat, beautiful on the water, just pops. We do have a sunny day today, so you can see that. Runs silently, quietly, take you anywhere you want to go, inshore, offshore, easy to handle. It's like a one-person boat if you want, with no difficulty, easy to clean at the end of the day, and the softest ride of any boat, even close to its size. So if you ever want to have us build you a boat like this or slightly different than this, you know we're semi-custom, we'd love to build you a boat, please come see me at Stewart Boat Works here in Stewart, Florida. And thanks for watching the video.